Okay. Colin Kaepernick, he is an American football player and former quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. During a preseason game in 2016, he decided to sit down during our country's national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Kaepernick said, "I'm not going to stand and show pride in the flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. To me, this is bigger than football. It would be selfish on my part to look the other way, and there are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder." The reactions. What happened to being a leader for your team, your family, and young people who look up to you? Appreciating the thousands who died for you, former NFL quarterback Jeff Garcia said from Twitter. It was the most disgraceful displays I've ever seen by a professional athlete on this field of play. He signed a contract with the NFL football team. He has on an NFL helmet. He has on an NFL uniform. He doesn't have the right, I don't believe, to now putting his own political views on in that form. Former NFL quarterback and NFL analyst Boomer Esiason said, "I would tell him, Kaepernick, before you open your mouth again, maybe you should take a ride in a police car on a Friday or Saturday night in one of these major urban cities in America," Esiason said. "Just go on a couple 911 calls. Maybe then you'll get an idea about what these people making $35,000 a year have to deal with." Kaepernick said he wanted to be a voice for those who are unable to express their frustrations. He also said this protest is more and bigger than just football. And he also said it would be selfish of him not to acknowledge the injustice that's happening to people of color in this country. Let's not forget the narrative. According to former NFL quarterback, NFL analysis, Trent Dilfer, he says, "No matter how passionate you are about a matter, no matter how much of a burden you have for a social issue, you do not let that get in the way of the team. This is a backup quarterback whose job is to be quiet, sit in the shadows, and get the quarterback ready to play. Although I respect what he's doing and the passion and burning he has for this issue, but I don't respect the fact that he put himself and his stance above the team." Former NFL cornerback and NFL analysis Charles Woodson challenged Dilfer, and he said, "This stand that he took, it's not about Colin Kaepernick. We're talking about humanity. This is for everybody," Woodson said. "I hear people saying there's a time and place to do certain things, but what is the objectivity of any protest? To get maximum exposure of what you're talking about. I think this is an opportunity missed by the NFL, because when you think of NFL locker room, it's as diverse as any place." So a show of hands, how many of you know that there's a third verse in the Star-Spangled Banner? Nobody? The third verse was omitted because it celebrates the murder of African Americans. "No refuge could save the hireling enslaved from the terror of flight or gloom of the grave. At the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave, or the land of the free and home of the brave." The phrase slave, hireling, and slave means that black slaves were hired by the British to fight in the War of 1812 between the United States and the United Kingdom. Originally a patriotic poem, the author, Francis Scott Key, he was also a slave owner. And in the line, "Land of the Free," Scott Key was not talking about black people. I notice when somebody speaks up about social issues dealing with people of color in this country, there's a lot of distractions and detours that take the focus off the issue at hand. I also notice when an issue doesn't affect somebody personally, they have nothing to worry about because it doesn't disturb their everyday personal lives. But in my opinion, this needs to change. For example, If the roles were reversed, with black police officers killing unarmed white men and children at an alarming rate, how would the Caucasian community react? Passive or aggressive? I wish I had the answers. Thank you.